Yes, sir. Oh man, am I a little late today? Might be a little late today, just a little bit, just a little bit. But I know y'all are here rocking with me regardless. I know y'all gonna check this out on the playback and still rock with your boy regardless. So it's all good. Better late than never. I'm here. I'm here. I'm gonna make this video. Just want to tighten this up right quick. 1 second, y'all. Just bear with your boy right here. All right. So you see the thumbnail, you see the title, you see what we're talking about. Today we are talking about hunger. Hunger. Why is it that we have to spend so much money every week feeding ourselves? Money every day, feeding on ourselves, buying groceries, going out to eat. Why is it that eating is such a big part of our life? How much time do we spend? How much money do we spend every week, every day, every month just on food? And as soon as you get done eating, you wait a couple hours and you'll be hungry again. It never stops. It never stops. It never ends until you're in, but nobody's in the rush for that, right? So why is it? Why is it that we have to suffer these hunger pains? And you'll do anything when you feel hungry. The most moral and upstanding citizen on earth will do some diabolical, some devilish things if he gets hungry enough. Why is that? Why is it that the hunger pains within us are so strong? Why is this something, a common struggle, temptation that people all over the globe have to deal with? Why is that? Well, tonight we're going to break that down. One thing that made me want to talk about this topic is I see a lot of people jumping on this Ozempic wave. Now, if you haven't heard, Ozempic is a medication for diabetics. It's supposed to help people who suffer from diabetes. But a lot of people are starting to inject themselves with this medication in an effort to lose weight because they've gone so far, they've run so far away from hunger, they've run to gluttony. We started off at hunger. We're trying to run from hunger. We don't like the hunger pains. We're trying to get away from hunger. Everybody on earth is trying not to starve. Starvation was a real thing in the majority of the globe, in the majority of history. Starvation was something that really caused deaths in every civilization. So we ran from that. It seems today we've run so far, we've landed on the other side. We're now eating ourselves to death. We're suffering from gluttony. We've pushed off hunger, and now we're embracing gluttony. We're eating ourselves into what we call food comas, right? Here we are with a lack of control over our mouths, what we put into it, to the point where we're so obese, we're suffering from heart disease. Our arteries are clogged with plaque. Our stomach has so much dead flesh in it, rotting, because mind you, beef and chicken doesn't digest in a day or so like vegetables and fruits do. So if you've been eating those McDonald's, if you've been eating that steak from the steakhouse, if you've been, eating those birds, chicken, turkey, you got all that dead flesh in your stomach in an effort to run away from hunger pains. Now you've just embraced gluttony. You just went too far right. See? So we have to find that happy medium. We don't want to starve, which is a real pain that all humans can experience, hunger pains. We don't want to feel that pain, but in an effort to avoid that pain, it seems we've gotten too comfortable with the other side, which is gluttony. And the consequences of gluttony is obesity. The United States being one of the most obese nations on the planet. in the globe. We're dealing with the consequences of gluttony. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about with this Ozempic thing. Because instead of having the discipline, I recognize here are the two angles, right? Poverty, starvation, hunger, nobody wants that. Well, the other end, gluttony, obesity, heart disease, nobody wants that. So we've got to find that happy medium. In an effort to find that happy medium, it seems like a lot of people have embraced taking medication. Me, I think I'm a proponent of natural. You should rely on yourself and natural foods, fruits, vegetables as much as possible. Fruits, vegetables, water, and self control. Self control, physical exercise, physical training, PT. But when you start to rely on things like drugs like Ozempic, which is a diabetes drug, you're taking it for weight loss. See, you're just exporting accountability. You don't want to be accountable for what you're putting into your body. So instead of worrying about, hey, let me have the discipline to turn down this this steak sandwich, this steak dinner. Let me have the discipline not to go to McDonald's. I don't want to go to Arby's. We have the meats, right? Instead of putting down all of this dead flesh, instead of having the discipline not to put that dead flesh into your body, you run to Ozempic and let these drug companies, let the pharmaceuticals companies run your life. Let the pharmaceuticals have the discipline for you. Listen to what Sharon Osbourne has to say about Ozempic. Check this out.
Heard about this so-called wonder weight loss drug. I wanted to find out more.
Administered as a jab, Ozempic is designed to treat type 2 diabetes, but its popularity hit the roof online. As it was discovered, it can also help people lose a lot of weight.
I lost nearly 3 stone by taking Ozempic, and I came to the decision
First of all, let
with
me
my
pause this for a
doctors.
second. Look at this lady. Sharon Osbourne has had so much work done. Her face looks like her face looks like Play-Doh. It looks like she just shaped her whole face out of Play-Doh. I'm sorry. Am I wrong for making fun of this lady? Tell me she doesn't look like Michael Jackson. Why do people do that to themselves? I don't understand. Can you just age? Just accept the fact that we all are going to get older. Like you can just age naturally. Why? Oh my goodness, people put all these poisons into their bodies thinking it makes them look better. No, lady, it doesn't make you look better. Just be natural. Just embrace Father Time. Just accept the fact that your body is going to change with time. Just accept it. Mm.
That I had definitely lost enough weight, and I stopped taking it. And it worries me for young people that in the wrong hands it could be quite dangerous.
You need a prescription to use Ozempic, and while NHS guidelines state that it should only be used to treat diabetes, there's no law stopping private doctors or online pharmacies from prescribing it for weight loss.
Now, listen to what they just said. They're specifically saying that this drug should only be used for diabetes. Why are they saying that? Because diabetes is a legitimate reason. Diabetes is a disease that could affect your life, that could actually cause death. So Ozempic is specifically pharmaceutically created to combat diabetes. But there's no law saying doctors can't give it to you for weight loss. That's called off-label use. Off-label use. But the question is the cons, the pros and cons. When weighing pros and cons, okay, the side effects that come with Ozempic outweigh the cons of not having it for diabetes. But not having Ozempic does not outweigh the con of not having it for obesity because obesity is under your control. You are able to turn down, to change your diet. The obesity is, for the most part, with the very few exceptions of outside medical conditions, for the most part, for the most part, for healthy individuals, your health, your size, obesity is under your control. You should not have to take diabetes medication, take injections, put needles into your body in an effort to have the discipline to say, no, I don't want that extra cheeseburger. No, I don't want to put the beef inside of my stomach. I'd rather have the fish. No, I don't want to have the chicken. I don't want to have the turkey. I'd rather have a salad. Just make wiser decisions with what you're putting inside of your body. But I guess the people who would rather take the easy way out and put needles in their body, you know, they probably wouldn't listen to what I'm saying anyway, right? I'm crazy for saying it's better to use discipline than it is to use drugs that come with all types of other side effects. 10 years from now, you're going to be seeing a commercial of the attorneys. Have you used Ozempic? Please call our law firm at 1-800 dot sue your ass for every 10 years you see a different commercial talking about you use this drug. Oh wow, you might be entitled to compensation. Please join our Class A lawsuit because you took this drug instead of having the discipline to join the gym. Don't do it to yourself. Exercise discipline.
Cherie from Buckinghamshire obtained a prescription for Ozempic from an online pharmacy.
When you're buying it online, what process do you have to go through to get it?
When I first started, I went with a company online and they just sent me a WhatsApp and said, here's the guide. And I had a pharmacist call me once to check that I was okay.
But there was no other monitoring.
No. And they were like, yeah, okay, that's £149, please.
What about side effects? Because when I first started to take it, I felt nauseous the whole time.
I've had the occasional bit of, I'd say, seasicky sort of feeling.
Yeah.
As social media hype around Ozempic has spread, demand has skyrocketed. It's something that concerns Dr. Idris Mughal, who specialises in nutrition and uses social media to combat medical misinformation to his 2 million plus followers.
The active ingredient in Ozempic, called semaglutide, acts on brain receptors to reduce your craving. So you just don't have a desire.
No, you don't.
And because of the massive demand, it put a massive strain on the whole manufacturing process. Supply-demand issues were there.
So people who really needed it
Yes.
for their diabetes couldn't get it.
Exactly.
So people are using this drug all the way to the point where those people who actually have diabetes, people who have real life issues that are outside of their control, there's a shortage for them. There's a shortage for them. That's wild. But listen, I'm not going to harp on this. This video is not specifically against Ozempic. I'm just using this as an example. But here's the thing. Here we got to get into the word here. Okay? Because the word is very specific. It gives us very clear instructions as far as what we should be putting into our body and why. A lot of people like to ignore the Old Testament. Out of convenience. They say, oh, we're no longer under the law, we can eat whatever we want as long as we bless our food. Because they don't want to have what it takes. It's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of discipline that would come if you tried to live your life according to the Old Testament. So they try to take the easy way out. We're just going to disregard all of the guidance, all of the wisdom of the Old Testament. The Bible, the Old Testament tells us clearly what we should think about what we're putting into our bodies. Perfect example. Let's start here. Let's start Philippians chapter 3, verse 19. Their destiny is destruction. Their God is their stomach, and their glory is in their shame. Their mind is set on earthly things. This is a very accurate passage, and this is just something slight I wanted to pull up because it describes what we're dealing with the masses, right? But I'm going to digress there. Let's start here. Let's start here. Genesis chapter 1. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning. All right. Let's change that up. Let's start at the beginning. Genesis chapter 1. When we were first created, right? When we were first created, this is the Most High God creating man on earth, right? This is the creation story. Genesis chapter 1. We're going to start at verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image. First of all, who is our? Our sounds plural. But God said, make man in our image. That's interesting. After our likeness. Why our likeness? Why not my image? All right? God says, let us make man in our image and our likeness. That's interesting, but let's continue. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female. So check this out. It starts with us, right? Us and our image, our likeness. And then God made who? Male and female created he them. Now that's a lesson in and of itself, because a lot of people like to start off with Adam and Eve, knowing that there were people on earth before Adam and Eve. That's not the purpose of tonight's conversation. But while we're on the topic of starting from the beginning, while we're on the topic of Genesis chapter 1, I can't just slide past that and ignore the fact that it does say our image and our likeness, meaning plural. It says he created male and female, created he them. But then people like to skip and fast forward to Adam and Eve as if this creation story doesn't even exist. Don't. I'm getting a little off topic, but we're just going to pimp past that, right? Okay. For the sake of the night, for the sake of time, I'll pimp past the fact that people like to start with Adam and Eve as if, okay, all right, let's just continue. And God blessed them. Blessed who? Him? No, them. And God said unto him, no, them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every little thing that moveth on the earth. So he created us, man and female, and he immediately gave us instructions. All right, I made you. What's your job? Here's your job. I want you to go be fruitful and multiply. All right, go procreate. I want you to replenish the earth, populate the earth, and subdue it, control it. You are now in control of this planet, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing. You are now in control of this planet. You're in control of every living thing. I'm giving this over to you. Go be fruitful, multiply, procreate. I created you. Here are your instructions. Verse 29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Meaning, if you go back to Genesis chapter 1, the very first creation, I'm talking about before Adam and Eve. If you go back before Adam and Eve, the very first creation story, Genesis chapter 1, God gives us instructions and he immediately tells us what we're supposed to eat. He tells us what we're supposed to eat. You're supposed to eat the seed, the fruits, the plants, the vegetables, the herbs. That we have instructions and we have a menu. We have a diet assigned to us. It says, verse 30, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat, And it was so. So that was the intention. That was the original intention. We were all vegans. We were all vegans. We were supposed to be living off the planet off of the herbs. Nobody had to die for us to survive. No, no. Now, when you look at your plate, it's a boneyard, it's a graveyard. You get done eating chicken, you leave your bones on the plate. Your plate is now a graveyard. When you get done carving up your steak dinner, that T-bone, that bone, that's a graveyard. Every time you get done eating, when you look down at that the dead flesh that you just put inside your stomach, that was a carcass. Most of us are vultures every day, and we don't even think about it like that. But we're eating this roadkill. We're eating things that had been dead for days. That's not even a freshly slaughtered pig on your plate. You eating bacon from a pig that was slaughtered weeks ago. You are similar to a vulture at that point, right? But originally, in the beginning, Genesis chapter 1, if you take it back to the beginning, God, when He created us, intended for us to be eating plants, every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth. That was His intention. Now you say, oh, but that was the Old Testament. It changed. Why did it change? Why did it change? People always like to skip oh, Christ came back. He said it's not what comes out, it's not what you put into your mouth, but what comes out that defiles a man. You can eat what you want. That's Old Testament. But you ignore the fact of why. Why did it change? If the original intention was for us to eat plants, why? At what point did they say, okay, you can go ahead and kill animals, kill the things that I created, instead of eating what could reproduce itself? When you eat fruit, when you eat an orange, what is left on your plate is seeds. That's life. You can take those seeds, take them outside, put them in dirt, and you could grow more oranges. When you get done eating vegetables or fruits, the seeds are left on your plate. Life is left on your plate. But when you get done eating dead flesh, bones are left on your plate. A graveyard is left on your plate. So just think about that in and of itself should be a message. That in and of itself should be a hint like, okay, which one is the more righteous diet? Which one is the more righteous diet? Why is it that God, the Most High God, when He created the creatures before Adam and Eve, why is it that He intended for us to eat vegetables? And at what point did He say, okay, forget it. Y'all go ahead and eat whatever you want to eat. Y'all go ahead and eat the dead flesh instead of eating, the herbs, the fruits, the oranges, the mangoes, the sweet potatoes, the strawberries, the blueberries, the blackberries. Which one's easier? Which one's easier? Is it easier to go hunting a rabbit? Think about the original man, the first man on the planet. Would it be easier to go, because they didn't even have guns at that point, would it be easier to go make a spear and chase down all these deer and all these rabbits and try to catch a bird in the air? Or would it be easier to just pick up this mango up off the ground and eat that? Maybe eat some of these blackberries that I see growing on the bush. There's all these blueberries I can just pick out. There's all these raspberries I can put in my mouth. Which one do you think the original man was doing? Which one would have been easier? Which one's more practical? Which one's more practical? Which one do you think you would be doing if you were on a deserted island? Would you be plucking the coconuts off the tree? I want this coconut off the tree. Let me get some of these bananas off the tree. Or do you think you're going to be running around trying to make a jerry rig a spear so you can hopefully possibly catch a fish that's swimming away? You over here getting your feet cut up, walking on rocks trying to catch these fish. Which one's easier? So we originally were meant to be eating the vegetables. Now here's where things changed. We fast forward to Genesis chapter 9. This is where things change. Mind you, mind you, God just destroyed the planet. This is after Adam. This is after the Lord God created Adam and Eve. The Lord God created Adam and Eve. They sinned. They populated the earth, and the earth was full of sinners. God was like, I've had enough of this. I've had enough of this. I'm flooding the earth. We're gonna start over. Because the Most High God created them, male and female. The Lord God created this new creature, Adam and Eve, and the sons of God, meaning the angels, came and saw that they were fair, and decided they came onto the women because they saw that they were fair, made this whole new creature, which is us. That's a whole nother story for another day. But the earth was populated by us evil folks, us mixtures of the creatures the Lord God made and the creatures that the Most High God made. Those two creatures came together, made us, and we were populating the earth, right? Anyway, God decided to destroy that whole planet, wipe it out. So what do? We're going to flood it. 40 days, 40 nights of rain, right? Genesis chapter 9. And God blessed Noah and his sons. So mind you, everyone's got to know about the story of Noah, right? Noah's ark, right? So God's destroying the planet. He's saving Noah and his sons. So God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Replenish the earth, because the earth is empty. We just flooded it. So he's given us the instructions, just like in Genesis chapter 1, when God created man and female, he gave us instructions. Now he's flooding the whole earth, but he's saving Noah, and he's again giving instructions, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, and upon all that move on the earth, and upon all the fish of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. I mean, I'm giving you, everything fears you. I just destroyed the whole planet because of your sins, because of your iniquity. Any creature that comes around, they're going to be fearful of you from this point forward. Right? So even the animals know at this point, hey, we're going to leave those human things alone. Before, in Genesis chapter 1, when God told us to eat, look, let's go back to that real quick. Let's go back to that. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, and God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in which the fruit of the tree, for you it shall be meat. Right? He also gave us dominion over the animals, but he didn't say the animals were fearful of us. The animals weren't fearful of us at this point. Matter of fact, the animals were over there eating green herbs as well. Verse 30. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every herb for meat. And it was so. So even the animals at this point were vegans. We're all eating the herbs, eating the plants. And there's nothing saying that the animals were scared of us at this point. But the earth gets flooded, now all of a sudden, once the earth gets flooded, and the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth. So all the animals are scared of us. Everything, the fish, the birds, everything is scared of us. Every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you. So what happened to just the herbs? What changed here? Genesis chapter 1, the herb bearing seeds. But Genesis chapter 9, after the flood, now all of a sudden, every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things. So what changed here? Why is it that in Genesis chapter 9, he's giving us meat, whereas in Genesis chapter 1, he was giving us the plants? What's the difference? The difference is everything's flooded. Everything's flooded. There's not plants for you to just go pick up like that anymore. It's rotted. Everything's flooded. You can't just go pick up the bananas because it's all been flooded. You can't just pick up some sweet potatoes. It's flooded. You can't just go pick up the mangoes. It's not as readily available. It's not readily available. The whole world was just flooded. He's saying, all right, it was my intention for you to eat the vegetables, eat the fruits, eat the herbs, the plants will be your meat. But now that everything's flooded because of your iniquity, because of your wickedness forced me to flood the earth. And now that the earth is flooded, yeah, go ahead and eat the meat. It wasn't my intention, but hey, you got to survive. But it's like this. If you are in the desert, if you're in the desert and someone offers you water or someone offers you what? Fermented beer, let's say, water would be the best option. If you're in the desert, water would be the best option. But if you can't have water, I'm sure you'll take the beer. Right? If you're in the desert and your body is designed to drink water, water is your best option. Water is your best option. Your body was made to drink and absorb water. You're in the desert, you want water. But guess what? All you're getting is this beer. That's in a nutshell Genesis chapter 9 verse 3. Verse chapter 1, he's telling us to eat the plants. But now that everything's flooded, now that the people on earth were so wicked and their iniquity caused the Most High to flood the earth, now that everything's flooded, everything's destroyed, yeah, go ahead and eat some meat. Because hey, there's not a lot of options anymore. Everything's flooded. You messed it up. You ruined it. So when you try to skip and fast forward and say, "Oh, we're going to disregard the Old Testament. The New Testament says we can eat meat. We just have to pray over it." You're not recognizing the fact that yeah, you can eat meat, but that doesn't mean that you're supposed to. That doesn't mean that it's optimal. That doesn't mean it's your best option. You can eat meat. He gave us the right to eat meat after the flood. You're in a dire situation. The whole planet has been destroyed. Yeah, you can eat meat to survive, but that's not the best thing. That's not the intended use. That's not the intended use. The intended use for the body, what the body has been prescribed originally, was plants. Plants, fruits, vegetables, sweet potatoes, green beans, black eyed peas, pasta, macaroni and cheese, things, right? Mangoes, pineapples, apples, pears. These were the things that were designed for our bodies, for meat. This meat was the allowing us to eat meat came later as a consequence of dire situation. That was not the intention, the original intention. Right? Now, fast forward to Revelation chapter 7. Chapter 7, when we're talking about the seal of God. I made a separate video, I might link it here, it might not. But that video was called The Mark of the Beast versus the Seal of God, where I broke down this chapter. I broke down the sealing of the servants of God in the book of Revelations chapter 7, right? 144,000 of the saints, 12 from each tribe, are sealed and protected, right? This is in the end times, end time prophecy coming from the book of John. But the thing that I wanted to point out specifically would be verse 16. Let's start at verse 15. Therefore are they before the throne of God, talking about the 144,000. Do I want to start earlier than that? Well, here, they're talking about the 144,000, start at verse 15. Therefore are they before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. They shall hunger no more. They shall what? They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more. Neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. Right? So hunger and thirst is something that we have to suffer during our separation from God. But when we are like the 144,000 in the presence of the Most High, we shall hunger no more, neither shall we thirst anymore. So there's levels to this thing here. There's levels to this thing here. So when we see I could go back, there's a lot I could break down because there's so many teachings on this topic. There's so many parables that God gives us in his word on this topic. For example, when Adam is cursed to toil after getting kicked out of the garden. Now he's forced to toil. You don't work, you don't eat. Working in order to get his daily bread. That was a curse, man. So now we all suffer. The big and the small, the rich and the poor, the young and the old. We all feel the pains of hunger. But if you run away from hunger, you embrace gluttony. Catch 22. A temptation that we all must face. Where do we land? I submit to you to find the balance. Because gluttony and obesity seems to be plaguing our people, specifically in America, specifically Black Americans, specifically foundational Black Americans. The so-called Black Americans. We suffer high rates of diabetes, heart disease, stroke, all types of medical complications, which is one of the reasons why we were the hardest hit during COVID. In emergency preparedness, it necessitates that we be physically fit. You stay physically fit as a ward for so many reasons. Physical fitness the rewards of physical fitness come in so many ways. It becomes as a deterrent. Physical fitness is a deterrent from disease. It's a deterrent from bullies. It's a deterrent. And it's an outward manifestation of your internal mindset. Obesity is an outward manifestation of your internal mindset. Now, if you see someone obese and you see someone who's physically fit, what do you think comes with that? What do you think those two personalities, the type of personality that produces physical fitness and the type of personality that produces obesity, what do you think those two people, their views on discipline are? What do you think those two people's views on sacrifice are? What do you think those two personalities, their views on delayed gratification would be? I don't know. Just something to think about. Just something to think about. But hey guys, that's gonna be it for tonight's video. I was a little bit all over the place on this one. I hope you were able to pick something up from it. I tried to drop a few jewels. I hope you're able to grab some of them. I'm pushing physical fitness, which reminds me, y'all be on the lookout. I'm going to start a new channel. Matter of fact, should I even announce that? I said I like to do things before I say what I'm going to do. But I had this idea and y'all can hold it to me. Y'all be on the lookout for Fry Time Fitness. Fry Time Fitness. I'm going to start a fitness channel, and I'm going to push this physical fitness. I'm going to show y'all some simple workouts that you can do in your own home, from the convenience of your own home, from the convenience of your own. If you have a basement, I'm going to show minimal equipment. Y'all be on the lookout for a new channel called Fry Time Fitness. And I'm going to show y'all some different workout plans, things that y'all can do at homes. I'm talking about calf raises, wall sits, push-ups. Might get a little pull-up bar, might get a dip bar. We'll see. But I'm going to make that channel, so y'all be on the lookout for that. Fry Time Fitness. All right, pushing physical fitness over here. We're pushing discipline, delayed gratification. All right, emergency preparedness. We're pushing it all over here. If you made it this far in the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. If you enjoyed tonight's video, and it's your first time watching, do me a personal favor and smash the subscribe button for content just like this. Talk about a wide range of topics. Every Saturday we do this BITN, Bible in the News. Weekdays we keep it more secular with conversations on hip hop, news, current events, politics, philosophy, all types of stuff. We're talking about it. We're enjoying the conversation, and it's good faith arguments on this side. So y'all be sure to come on back, like the video, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.